Hi and welcome to our next level 1 geometry video. We're going to take a break from polygons and parallel lines and we're going to take a video looking at compass points and bearings. Now we know the compass points are our main points on a compass that are used for direction. We have what's called cardinal points, which are the four main direction points of north, east, south and west. You know that you move to the right in a clockwise direction. So a lot of people remember this with a mnemonic: never eat soggy Weet-Bix. Now there are things called intercardinal points, which are halfway between north and east and south and east and so on. So we have northeast, southeast, southwest and northwest. There are such things as intercardinal points, which are halfway between these again, but we're not going to stress about these. Now, if you were traveling in a direction that wasn't north or east or northeast, we would have to refer to the direction with a bearing. A bearing is a more accurate way to measure direction. A bearing is an angle between 000 degrees and 360 degrees. It must have 3 digits. So if you measured the angle of the bearing to be, say, something like 58 degrees, you'd have to write it as 058 degrees to make it 3 digits. Bearings are measured clockwise from north. So let's get into some examples and show you what bearings are all about. So here's an example where we are starting at point A and we are traveling in the direction to get to point B. So what bearing is this? Well, let's bring up the north, and north is always considered to be up the page, straight up. So this is the angle that we have to measure to work out our bearing. So if we bring up a protractor and measure this angle, you would see, as best as we can, it looks to be almost very close to 120 degrees. Let's see what the bearing is, 120 degrees. Now, we have to measure to the right of north, which was what we've done, and we have to have 3 digits, which is what we've got. So you can see that from point A to point B would be a bearing of 120 degrees. If we were traveling, say, in this direction up here from point A to point B, notice we have to write it as 049 degrees. We have to put an O at the front to make it 3 digits. This angle in here would be 49 degrees and would write the bearing as 049 degrees. If you wanted to travel exactly east, we'd write this as the bearing of 090 degrees. If you wanted to travel in a bearing of exactly south, that's 180. And if you wanted to travel on a bearing of west, that would be 270 degrees. Now, notice if I wanted to travel in this direction from A to B, I have to measure this entire angle around here, not the small acute angle in here. I have to measure the large angle because I must go clockwise from north. Now, what a lot of people do is they measure the small angle or calculate the small angle and then subtract it from 360 degrees. Right, let's bring up a map of the North Island. And let's pretend we are traveling from our beautiful city of Wellington and traveling in a straight line to the beautiful city of Napier. So we're traveling from point A to point B. So now that I've got that set up, let's get rid of the map. Let's bring up the north again, and we need to measure the bearing. So we would calculate or measure this small angle, acute angle in here, and then we could write down the bearing. Now the angle comes out to be 43 degrees, so our bearing has to be written as 043 degrees. Right, so very quickly, bearings are angles between 000 and 360. They must have 3 digits, and they're always measured clockwise from north. Great, thanks very much for watching.